Want help to grow your business? Download BRiN, the world's first business advisor in your pocket. To find out more, visit BRiN.ai or search the App Store today.
Hello and welcome to Teach Me Tech. This is the place where you want to be if you want to learn about any kind of cloud technology. Essentially, we do about a 45-minute demonstration of your favorite technology tools. And today I am joined by the fabulous Damien Thomson of Minute. Thank you so much for coming.
Thanks for having me, Laurel.
Oh, boy. So what we're going to talk about today is we're going to go through sort of a little bit of an introduction of Minute, which is a relatively new software on the market. So here's what we're going to cover. Why you would need a best-of-breed meeting productivity system for your business. What are some of the best practice tips for structuring and running an effective meeting? Setting up your free standalone account, we're going to walk you through the whole thing. And then understanding the dashboard and how to configure your account, inviting your first attendees to your meeting, creating that first meeting, running your first meeting. How many times are we going to say meeting? Oh my gosh. Scheduling. We're going to schedule some follow-up meetings. And then finally, we're going to talk about the integrations and how you can actually get more out of Minute. So let's get started.
Let's do it.
Yay! Now, the first time that I met with Damien to talk about this software, I was initially a little bit skeptical, I have to say, because I run a small business, and I was thinking to myself, meeting software, well, look, I've already got Google Docs, I've got my Google Sheets and everything. I can probably manage this on my own. I'm not sure if I really need a full-blown meeting productivity system. Even for me, I love my apps and my technology. I thought, oh, maybe this is like a little bit of overkill. And then, Damien, you sat me down and you showed me a demonstration, and I went, oh, I actually totally need this. It's awesome. But from your perspective, tell me a little bit about why is this software really important? How did it come about?
Look, it's a real common reaction that you had there, Laurel, to why do I need meeting productivity software? The truth is that businesses, no matter how big or small, have meetings. They're an incredibly important aspect of any business. They serve a very important function. They're a forum for discussion, making decisions, and assigning actions to ensure that businesses move forward. So they do serve a very important process. Unfortunately, we've found that meetings are run typically very ineffectively and very inefficiently, and often result in lower productivity and very few outcomes from them. So what we set to do was use our meeting experience. Our management team has thousands of hours of collective meeting experience from board level through to operational and client-facing meetings, and use that to develop a piece of software that enables you to manage your meetings, actions and minutes from one single secure location.
And that's all it does. We're just dealing with meetings.
We're just dealing with meetings. Meetings are typically a broken process, and we're looking to fix that.
It sounds like it's really centered around, I guess, based on what you've said, around accountability.
Accountability and compliance and governance. So making attendees accountable for delivering on meetings, and centrally storing all of the minutes so that they're accessible for all people that have attended the meeting, so everyone's on the same page when they leave the meeting. Because when you leave the meeting, that's when the work really starts, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. How many times have you left a meeting and people don't know what their follow-up actions are, or it just takes so long for the person who's done the minutes to send it out that people have just completely forgotten?
Well, I typically used to receive minutes 5 minutes before I'd walk into my next meeting. So this is a really good way of ensuring that as soon as the meeting's done, the minutes are circulated, everyone knows what they need to do in time for the next meeting.
Awesome. So it sounds like with this software, people are going to get updated instantaneously.
That's exactly right. As soon as the meeting's finished and closed, minutes are automatically circulated to all attendees, and they have a legal record of what's actually been discussed during that meeting.
Awesome. Now, you've got sort of like larger business experience, like working for larger organizations, and you have some agency experience as well.
That's correct.
So I can totally see how this software would work for large teams where you have some reporting that needs to happen. But what about for the smaller side? A lot of people that are watching this episode are probably either starting their business or they have a really small team. So tell me about how it might work for those smaller side.
Yeah, sure. We've recently launched Minute, and as a platform, it's getting a lot of adoption from individual consultants who work with clients, work with suppliers, vendors, and they have meetings with them in an external environment. Minute produces a professional-looking record and circulates that to all parties to serve as a historical document as what's transpired during the meeting. So for a small individual organisation or an organisation just starting out, it's a very professional way to present their professionalism to the rest of the world.
Yeah, I have to say, I tested it out right after we had our first meeting, which I didn't get any minutes from you, by the way, just so you know.
My apologies.
But I did test it out later that day. I had sort of a very important client that I wanted to impress a little bit, and I sent out the meeting minutes, and it worked out really well. It was really clear and structured, and they ended up getting this awesome PDF copy at the end. A little spoiler alert. And I found that it worked really well, even though it was just a one-on-one meeting.
That's right, and it's a record that is stored centrally, so both you and your attendees can access that meeting at any point in time and go back, look what was discussed, look what decisions were made and what actions had been assigned from it.
Awesome. Ooh. Well, you know I love the word organized and productivity, so I can't wait to learn more.
Don't we all?
Oh, my. So next we're going to talk a little bit about what are some of the best practice tips that you've got for structuring an effective meeting.
How long have you got?
Oh, gosh. Well, and this is something that I really don't know much about, so I'm really excited to hear from you. And it's something we don't often delve into on Teach Me Tech, is the concept behind why is the software really important? So
well, it's
tell us.
interesting. When people start their professional career, they're trained on how to use email, how to build spreadsheets, develop PowerPoint presentations. People invest more time on teaching them how to use the Office photocopier than how to effectively run a meeting. So what we've done is we've used our collective meeting experience and encapsulated that in the software to provide standardized process and reflect that in the technology. So there are three areas that we'll talk about: the why, the who, and the how. So let's look at the why. As an initial tip, meetings should have defined structure and purpose and agenda to them when they're created.
Yep. So often we get meeting invites. I'd like to talk to you.
Exactly.
About nothing. Yeah.
And the first thing that I do when I receive that invitation is, well, why do I need to be there? So the first thing an agenda does is it structures the discussion, so immediately I know what's going to be discussed and whether or not I need to attend that meeting. Because so many meetings, there are countless hours invested that I don't need to be there. Secondly, it can enable the attendees to come better prepared for the meeting.
Yep. Awesome. And the other thing that you mentioned was who's going to be coming.
That's right. So it's important when inviting people to a meeting that they're the right people to attend the meeting. So this should include a mix of doers, people who are actually going to follow up on activities, a mix of decision makers, people who can actually make decisions in that meeting rather than having to defer them to future meetings, and people who are impacted by the meetings. So you can have a very good discussion about what needs to be done and then assign actions to go out and do it. And then finally, the how. So closing the meeting, assigning the actions, and then circulating and storing those minutes so that you can refer back to them at any point in time.
Okay, so it sounds like getting a really clear purpose for the meeting, ensuring that you've got the right people involved, and then having those follow-up actions in place and really clear.
That's exactly right.
Beautiful. Is there anything else that we're missing as part of that structure?
Look, there's a lot of information that we can share around how to structure effective meetings, run effective meetings. Within the software, you can circulate documents that are required to be discussed during the meeting. And there's a lot of accountability features that we've built in as well.
Awesome. As you're telling me this, I'm thinking and maybe you can't share it here on Teach Me Tech, but was there ever a time where in your corporate career where you had some really dysfunctional meetings And is that how this software came about?
I've had some real eye-opener meetings where I've had account management teams that have been dealing with clients in client-facing for very large projects. And I've seen time after time notes not being taken in the meetings, turning up to the next meeting and spending half the meeting discussing what was covered at the last meeting rather than being able to progress forward. So putting projects at risk by poor record keeping, lack of accountability and lack of governance.
I think the really beautiful thing about Minute It is that you kind of go within an organization, this is how we do minutes, rather than having a Microsoft Word template or, that somebody's involved in setting up one thing and then...
To continue enjoying this presentation, download BRiN, the world's first business advisor in your pocket. To find out more, visit BRiN.ai or search the App Store today.